huge EV scam just got exposed. EVs are turning into dead robots in cold winters, leaving EV owners shocked and stranded in the middle of nowhere. Thousands of EV owners rush to charging stations, but over 70% of the charging stations don't even work. And get this, EVs lose their charge almost twice as fast in winters. And in the middle of all this, the political leaders continue to lie to the public. EVs aren't the future. And if you were going to buy an EV, this video might change your mind forever. Are EVs a scam? Why won't EVs work in the winters? And most importantly, why is the government hiding this reality from us? Watch very carefully as we go through the harrowing stories of these folks who had to suffer due to an EV. EV charging stations are getting super crowded, and the current grid can barely keep up with the demand. The EV bubble is about to burst, and a huge market crash is ahead of us. EVs and cold weather go together like oil and water. You've probably heard EVs are the future, right? Well, guess what? Old Man Winter didn't get the memo. When the temperature drops, EVs start acting like they've seen a ghost. We're talking about a range drop of a bone-chilling 41% in some cases. Imagine gearing up for a road trip and your trusty EV tells you, sorry pops, I can't go that far. This is the biggest scam in the history of cars. Take Marcus Campbell in Chicago, for instance. This guy signs up with Uber thinking he's gonna make some quick bucks with his rented EV. But nope, the Windy City's freezing temps turned his workday into an extended stay at the charging station. For out of the 18 hours he rented his EV, he spent nearly 10 hours trying to charge it. And Marcus isn't the only one. This winter, EV drivers are finding themselves in a cold sweat over their car's dwindling range. We've got a record 1.2 million EVs sold in 2023, but now some drivers are getting the chills thinking, did I make the right choice? Because let's face it, waiting hours for your car to charge when it's colder than a penguin's beak outside isn't anyone's idea of fun. And the aftermath, people are rushing to exchange their brand new EVs for hybrids. And not just that, EVs are also killing people, which is something I'll talk about towards the end of the video. Here's where it gets even worse. The way EVs generate heat is like they're on a diet. They can't waste energy. In a gas car, you've got all this extra heat from the engine to keep you toasty. But in an EV, it's all on the battery's shoulders. And those batteries, by the way, they hate the cold more than cats hate water. Add a heater that sucks power like a thirsty vampire, and you've got the perfect storm. Even if you sit idle in an EV when the winter hits, you'll see the range drop by a good 40 to 50% easily. Imagine paying $60, $70, or even $100,000 MSRP for these so-called shiny futuristic cars, only to be hit with this. Right now, Chicago has become the hotspot of EV crisis cases, with 60% of the city's tow trucks busy towing stranded EVs. The experts at Consumer Reports tested some popular EV models and found that in winter, their batteries drop 25 to 35% in range. We're talking the Tesla Model Y, the F-150 Lightning, and even the costlier models from Lucid. Now let's talk about EV charging stations, because the government did invest more than $3 billion last year building them, right? Wrong. 3 in every 5 chargers are malfunctioning right now, while the ones that do work are either super crowded or have limited charging speed. Due to this, we're seeing massive graveyards of EVs parked up, out of charge, just sitting on the road gathering dust. And don't even get me started on how bad the situation is in smaller towns. Another horror story is from Javed Spencer, an Uber driver. This guy's Chevy Bolt turns into an oversized paperweight with just 30 miles left on the battery. He ends up needing a tow to the charging station, only to face a glacial wait of 5 hours for a charge that usually takes 1. Next up, we have a poor Tesla Model S owner. First, this guy's EV began to show various warning messages, and then it eventually stopped responding and left the man away from his family on Christmas Eve. And the worst part, despite being plugged into a supercharger for hours, the car just won't charge. And with cold weather and poor range, the charging costs are also shooting up.